Good evening and welcome to Sports Night in Auburn. I'm Andy Hewling and joined alongside me is Kennedy Gooden. Tonight we've got a big show for you, including breakdowns of the Tigers' most recent basketball games and even some track and field.
So stay tuned, you're watching Sports Night in Auburn on Eagle Eye TV.
Auburn took to the road to face their second set of Tigers in the last 2 weeks. The LSU Tigers welcomed Auburn into Baton Rouge for a showdown which had postseason implications. Auburn had the hot hand early as they took a 16-point lead early in the first half. LSU responded as they cut the lead to just 3 going into halftime. LSU continued their momentum in the second as they took a 10-point lead. Auburn made a push with 2 minutes remaining as Jared Harper cut LSU's lead to just 3 with a long-range three-pointer in traffic. Auburn's defense forced a 5-second violation which gave the Tigers one chance to send the game into overtime. With 3 seconds remaining, Auburn put the ball in the hands of Bryce Brown, who was unable to hit the game-tying shot as time expired. Auburn's record now goes to 5-5 in the SEC, and they are 1-5 away from Auburn Arena.
Auburn returns home tonight to play Ole Miss Rebels, who Auburn lost to at the beginning of SEC play. The Rebels were ranked as high as 18, but have suffered a few losses which dropped them out of the top 25. Ole Miss recently beat Georgia 80-64 on Saturday and will look to do the double over Auburn this season.
So Kennedy, Auburn is trying to get their season back together again after LSU beat them at home. Auburn, I would say, played their best game we've seen on the road, but what do you think that Auburn needs to do tonight to get this win against Ole Miss, who beat them in the game at the start of the season?
Well, I think what Auburn needs to do is make sure that they're consistent. That's something that I feel like they've struggled with this season. Although they did play better against LSU, they have to make sure that they're doing better defensively and things like that. Also making sure that they're making those free throws and they're all working together as a team. Yeah,
for sure. I think, Auburn is really good at home and they can use that to their advantage against Ole Miss. But the road struggles have got to stop for Auburn if they're going to be able to move forward and get in the tournament. That's going to be big that they win on the road because they've got teams like Kentucky who they have to go to Rupp Arena. They go into Tuscaloosa to play, and those games aren't easy. Auburn's going to have to earn it. But tonight is just kind of, for them, is going to be, can they get back on the right track and just do the things that they're known for doing. So it's going to be interesting tonight to see what the Tigers do. Yeah. The NCAA rankings came out this week, and the top 4 have remained unchanged.
At 1 is Tennessee, number 2 is Duke, 3 Gonzaga, and 4 is Virginia.
At 5 is Kentucky, 6 is Michigan, 7 Nevada, 8 North Carolina, and number 9 Houston, and number 10 is Marquette.
At spots 11 through 20, we have Michigan State, Purdue, Villanova, Kansas, Texas Tech, Louisville, Florida State, Kansas State, LSU, and Wisconsin.
Rounding up the top 25 is Iowa, Virginia Tech, Iowa State, Maryland, and Buffalo. Coming up, our sports director, Hayden Desmond, will break down Auburn's last game against LSU and how he thinks Auburn can still make a run at the tournament. Stay tuned right here. You're watching Sports Night in Auburn.
As a mom and an Olympian, I know the importance of getting to the finish line quickly.
But quicker isn't always better when it comes to conversations about the dangers of underage drinking.
General Marshall is right. You don't need to get the entire point across in one dinner or one car ride.
Stick to those meaningful moments. A text or short conversation can go a long way.
And be sure to use resources like asklistenlearn.org.
They've got everything from conversation starters to facts about the dangers of underage drinking.
So start the conversation today about saying yes to a healthy lifestyle.
And no to underage drinking.
I believe this is a practical world and that I can count only on what I earn. Therefore, I believe in work, hard work.
I believe in education, which gives me the knowledge to work wisely and trains my mind and my hands to work skillfully. I believe in honesty and truthfulness, without which I cannot win the respect and confidence of my fellow men.
I believe in a sound mind, in a sound body, in a spirit that is not afraid, and in a clean sport that develops these qualities.
I believe in obedience to the law because it protects the rights of all.
I believe in human touch, which cultivates sympathy with my fellow men and mutual helpfulness and brings happiness for all.
I believe in my country because it is a land of freedom and because it is my home, and that I can best serve that country by doing justly, loving mercy, and walking humbly with my God.
And because Auburn men and women believe in these things, I believe in Auburn and love it.
A Dog's Way Home is the story of the extraordinary lengths a dog will go to in order to get back to their family. Every year, millions of dogs and cats end up in shelters and rescue groups. We found our Bella at a shelter in Tennessee. When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover they're all pure love. Adopt pure love and help a shelter pet find their way home at theshelterpetproject.org.
Welcome back to Sports Night in Auburn. My name is Hayden Desmond, and normally on this segment for the last 2 weeks, we've been breaking down plays and showing all of the positive things that Auburn's been doing and what they can do to keep their success up. But this week, I don't really think we should look at plays or highlights or flashy dunks and passes. In fact, we're not going to look at any video at all. I just want you to listen to some of these stats from the last game against LSU. First, the positives. Auburn as a team shot 48.2% from the field and 42.1% from three. They hit 16 threes in this game. The Tigers out-rebounded LSU on the defensive end 28-25 and forced 11 turnovers. But with the positives, we also have some negatives. LSU got to the line 26 times, hitting 18 free throws, and on the offensive glass, Auburn had 7 rebounds. 7. LSU had 23, and those 23 boards led to 29 second chance points, and that's 3 times more than the Tigers plus 1. 19. That's the number of turnovers that Auburn had, and in this game, Auburn was out-rebounded and out-hustled as they also lost the battle for steals 12-7. But looking away from the stat sheet, Auburn came into this game on a 3-game winning streak and was looking to continue the hot streak, but this was a road game for Auburn, and for the season, Auburn's 1-7 on the road, with the lone win coming in College Station against Texas A&M. Now, Auburn has had an issue with going down on the scoreboard early and not being able to dig out of the hole they've gotten themselves into, as going down big to Kentucky and Mississippi State earlier this season. But this game was different because it was Auburn who was up big, as they were up by 16 early in the first half and seemed to take control. After that, LSU scored 28 of the next 43 points to bring the score within 3 at the half, as Auburn had a 41-38 lead at the break. Now, this was a game of runs, as Auburn had a big run in the first half, but LSU opened the second half on a 10-4 run and never looked back, as they got their lead up to as much as 10 before eventually they would win by 5. Jared Harper finished with 25 points, while 3 other Tigers finished in double digits, which is a theme for this season, as Auburn scoring has been very balanced, but bench play did not seem as strong as it could have been, as the Auburn bench only accounted for 15 points. Now, before the season, I would have told you that Auburn would have been a top 5 seed in the NCAA tournament, but now I think they're still going to make the tournament, and if they can continue to play like they have been at home, they'll make some noise and could even possibly make a run deep. But they have to do just a few things. Shoot the ball well in all aspects. I'm talking free throws, three-pointers, and from the field in general. Offensive rebounding. I've made my case on that one. 29 second chance points is not what this team should be giving up. And lastly, hustle. This team makes all the hustle plays and really plays as a family, and they're easy to get behind, which is another reason I don't think this season is over just yet. The SEC tournament is around the corner, and I think that is going to be the true test to see where these Tigers stand amongst the elite teams. Now, after the break, we'll take a look at everything going on around the Plains. Keep it right here on Sports Night in Auburn.
The Auburn Tigers defeated the Arkansas Razorbacks this past Sunday 75-72. Despite the Razorbacks closing a 17-point lead in the third quarter, Arkansas's Chelsea Dungy dropped 41 points with 32 in the second half alone. The Tigers were able to make some key defensive stops and make pivotal free throws to secure the win. This was the Tigers' 5th SEC road win, as their record is now 18-6, but 5-6 in the conference. The Tigers' next game is tomorrow night at Tennessee, with tip-off at 6 p.m., followed by a tough home game against Alabama on Sunday at 3 p.m.
Auburn baseball is finally back as Plainsman Park is ready for the Tigers to grace the field as they prepare for Georgia Southern in a 3-game series this weekend. Auburn was ranked 19 in the final preseason poll. First pitch on Friday is slated to be thrown at 6 p.m.
Auburn softball made the trip down to Gulf Shores this past weekend to compete in the Sand Dollar Classic tournament to open their season. They opened the tournament with 2 big wins on Friday as they defeated Tennessee State 11-4 and Western Kentucky 8-0. Saturday did not fare the same for the Tigers as they would lose to Missouri State and Louisiana Tech, both by 1 run each. The Tigers, however, bounced back Sunday with a statement win over Florida A&M by winning the game 10-2.
Track and field has been making a name for itself thanks to some star freshmen this season, the most notable being Anthony Schwartz, who just this past weekend broke the freshman record in the 60-meter sprint. In prelims at the Tiger Paw Invitational in Clemson, South Carolina, he ran a 6.62, which set the freshman record, and then in finals, he broke his own record by running a 6.59.
Schwartz's finals time of 6.59 makes him the number 5 performer in school history and its 9th fastest 60-meter time in the last 21 years. He was also named SEC Men's Freshman of the Week on Tuesday by the league office. We as fans may call some players legends, but it's rare that you look at an athlete and truly call him a recognized legend. The Southeastern Conference 2019 class of women's legends will have an Auburn great as Katie Fearson will have her name enshrined among Auburn's greats.
Fields, who was on the Plains from 2008 to 2011, holds Auburn career records in both assists and points and ranks 5th in SEC history in assists. She also ranks 2nd for most game-winning goals with 11 and 4th, and total goals with 31 in Auburn history. After the break, we'll tell you everything you'll need to know about what's coming up here on the Plains. We'll be right back.
Get it.
Get it.
Get it.
Get it.
Get it. Get it.
Is she gonna get it, Daddy?
She'll get it. Get it. Get it.
When you bring home a Goodwill find, you give your whole town a reason to celebrate because you're also funding local job training and placement programs in tech, healthcare, and more. Goodwill. Bring good home.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So when you drill, show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year. You can even make them fun. So everyone knows the sound and exactly what to do when they hear a smoke alarm. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family for home fires.
Tomorrow night, Auburn softball will take the field against UAB with the first pitch set at 6 p.m. This is the first of 6 games the Tigers will play this weekend against Furman on Friday at 6 p.m. and on Sunday at 11:30 a.m. Drake will be a Saturday at 2 p.m., followed by Texas Tech at 4:40 p.m. And to close out the weekend on Sunday, they will play UAB at 2 p.m.
Women's basketball hopes to clinch their 6th SEC road win against the Tennessee Volunteers in Knoxville with tip-off set for 6 p.m. And they play a tough Alabama at home on Sunday at 3 p.m.
Friday is opening day for Auburn baseball as the Tigers take on Georgia Southern in a 3-game series throughout this weekend, with the first pitch set to be at 6 p.m. Then they play at 2 p.m. on Saturday and at 1 p.m. on Sunday at Plainsman Park.
After coming off their first loss of the season against Florida after 5 straight wins, the Tigers gymnastics team faced Arkansas at home this Friday at 7 p.m.
Women's golf teams, the women's golf teams play in their second tournament of 2019 this weekend at the Oconee Collegiate Championship in Eatonton, Georgia, against Mercer and Tulane.
The number 1 ranked Equestrian faces 3rd ranked South Carolina on the road on Saturday in a critical conference matchup.
Women's tennis has a doubleheader on Sunday, playing Sanford at 10 a.m. and Georgia State at 2 p.m. at the Yarborough Tennis Center.
Men's basketball plays the Vanderbilt Commodores on the road on Saturday, hoping to get more wins under their belt before the SEC tournament is underway. Tip-off is scheduled for 11 a.m. in Nashville.
Well, that's all we have for you tonight.
Be sure to follow us on Twitter at EETV_sports and follow Eagle Eye TV on Instagram. And don't forget to check out our website, eagleeyeauburn.com. I'm Kennedy Gooden.
And I'm Andy Hewling. Thanks for watching, and War Eagle.